Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another 2 Minute Tuesday. This week, as promised, I wanted to talk about the new form editor within the Maker portal. But before we do that, I want to talk about why I wanted to share this tip. There's one of the things that people have been asking for a long time, which is a save and publish button. So that's why I'm starting right here on the old form editor. So before, if we made a change, if we added a field or something like that into the form, let's say I wanted to add, I don't know, account rating or whatever into this thing, I have to save, then I have to publish, then I can save and close, right? It was kind of like a three-step process, and one of the things people wanted is a save and publish button. If you're still asking for that, and I'm still asking Microsoft for that, if they're going to be including that, if we're going to keep this classic form editor for a while, which I kind of enjoy it in a couple of ways, and maybe as a bonus, if you stick till the end, I will talk about why I still like to work with the classic form editor. But for now, let's just focus on the tip. So again, if you want that save and publish button, if you're doing a lot of editing, if you're doing a lot of customization on forms, and especially for a solution that hasn't gone live yet, you will be doing a lot of changes and just save and publish to go test and see how it looks. So instead of doing it here on the classic editor, what I want you to do is switch to the Power Apps Maker portal. So in order to get here, you're going to type make.preview.powerapps.com. So you're going to go there. Obviously, make sure you are on the right environment, right? So if you're not on your preview environment, or not your preview environment, but your dev environment, just make sure you switch that to the right environment, right? So you will be able to work on that environment, find the right solution, all that stuff. But I'm going to skip all of that. And I'm going to go straight into the entities. Now, again, before I open this form editor, let's start the countdown and let's go. So here I'm going to edit the same form I was in at before. It's the main form for the account form. So as you can see, there's a lot of the same things that we can do on the classic form editor that we can do in today's editor. Now the beauty about this is, again, if I'm going to add account rating, number one, I'm not adding it into a form that looks kind of different, because the form editor doesn't really look like the form. One thing that I really love about this new form editor is that it shows me what the form is going to look like for the actual user. So I can go and click on the different tabs and arrange them kind of how they're going to see it. Whereas today we don't really have that, right? We go to the form editor, we configure it in tabs, and then when you go see it on the actual form on the unified interface, it looks like this. So I really enjoy the fact that this one shows me live what the users are going to be seeing on the unified interface. So once you make that change, take a look. Now we have save. We have save as, so those same two buttons apply, but we don't have a save and close button. We have a publish button, but this publish button is enabled always. If you look at the old form editor, it's kind of there, but it tells you like you have to save it first, right? It doesn't let us just publish it. Not anymore. Check this out. I can click on publish right away. I don't have to wait for it. I don't have to save it. I don't have to do anything. It's a save and publish button. Now it doesn't save. It doesn't say save and publish, but it is a save and publish button. I've used it a million times now. It works, and you can see I just hit one button. It already saved it and published it. Now I just back out of it, and I'm done. I'm done with the change that I made. If I go back into the account entity, I will be able to see that change already in place. Now that we finished with the tip, let me go ahead and stop this clock. And now let's talk about, if you want to stick around, let's talk about one of the reasons why I like to use the classic form editor still. So one of the things that I really like about it is that I can switch to classic directly from here. I don't have to go fetch it, right? I don't have to go and try to find it. But if you notice here, when I click on a field, let's say I click on account rating, the field that I just added, I do get some options right here on the right hand side. I like the fact that it tells me what field type it is, and if I click on this, I can kind of collapse it, but it doesn't really let me access the field editor directly, right? I don't have an option to do that, which it's a pain for me. I really use that. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let me refresh this guy right here, reload the classic form editor. Now that we're not on the clock, I actually get to talk to you without having that pressure. So account rating is there. As you can see, I added it. So if I wanted to change it, let's say I wanted to change the requirement level or something like that, I can just double click on the field, go to the details tab, go to edit, and now I'm editing the field. I really miss that from the current form editor, right? I can just change the requirements, save, publish, I'm good to go. I don't have that. The other thing I don't have, and I'll go back to this new one, and again, it's super simple, right? If I need to hide it or lock it or make it read only, super simple, right? Just pick, bang, just click on it. It's easy, right? You don't have to double click on the field or go to the field properties to do that. Change the formatting if you want to make it, one column, two columns, whatever. That stuff is in here, so it's super simple to do that. But you know what's not simple to do is to find out if any scripts, for example, are firing off of it. Something that is super simple on the classic form editor. So for example, if I wanted to see if there are any scripts depending on this field, all I have to do is go to events, and here I would see what library and what scripts are depending on it or being fired on change, for example. So I really like that. So once again, there are a couple of things that I don't. It's not that I don't like on the new form editor, it's just that we don't have them yet. There will be added, and perhaps by the time you see this video, there's already buttons in there or functionality that allows you to do all this stuff. So you might be looking at this and being like, "Because what are you talking about?" I can totally see it on my side. But when I'm recording this thing in November of 2019, it's still not available. So once again, once Microsoft adds that stuff, I'll be 100% relying on the new form editor. I love it. I love how easy it is to drag and drop. It's a lot better. All of the functionality essentially that we get on the form editor on the classic mode, when it comes to adding fields, putting it on the form, moving them around, whatever, hiding them. So the vast majority of it, all the components. So if you want to add, for example, tabs and quick view forms and stuff like that, all that stuff is in there. So I have no complaints on that, on adding the components. But again, there's a couple of features in there that I just don't have access to, which is a pain from that regard. But super simple. You can see the header. You can get to it without having to switch from the body to the header or whatever. You can just get to that, which is really cool. And then on the other side, the one of the things that you don't get on the classic form editor, again, is that save and publish button that we were just talking about. And the other thing that is annoying on the classic form editor, and I'm sure you've noticed this is a bug that has been there for a while, is that if you create a new field and you added it into the field explorer here, it doesn't show up. You have to kind of like refresh the form, or what I like to do is I like to click on the new field button again, and once this loads up, you close it and the field will be added. So it's kind of like that extra step to show it. I wish that was fixed, but it hasn't been fixed in a couple years. So in the new form editor, whenever I go into the fields and I add a new field, it shows up immediately. I don't have to refresh. I don't have to do anything. So again, if I'm creating something, if I'm working for a customer implementing this thing, if I am constantly just making modifications into the form here and there, I love to work on the Maker portal. I think it's great. I think it's very responsive, and I love the fact that I look at it live the way a user will see it. On the classic one, you have to kind of use these preview buttons right here to see, kind of how it will look, but it's never really accurate. I love how this looks. So I totally recommend you guys using this thing as much as you can, and only on those outliers, only on those ones that you can't really do with the new one, go to the classic. I think more options will be added, so by the time you're watching this, you might not even need it. Maybe classic is not even available anymore because we can do everything at that point. But if classic is still available, only use it if you need it. So I hope you enjoyed the tip this week, and we'll see you next week.